We know that goodwill arises when we pay more than what we see on the balance sheet. I called it a potential overpayment. For the equity method, there was only one way to calculate goodwill. But here, two methodologies exist. And one is called full goodwill. The other one is called partial goodwill. And we need to understand both methodologies. So US GAAP actually requires the use of full goodwill. So if the item set says so-and-so company prepares financial statements under US GAAP, you can stop there. You don't need to think any further. You know that company has to be using the full goodwill methodology. Okay, well, how is this full goodwill computed? Well, it is computed as the difference between the value of the subsidiary, that's the fair value of the entire subsidiary, minus the fair value of the identifiable net assets. Okay, so now be careful here because they might not give you the value of the subsidiary. They might just give you the price the investor paid. So how do I work out the value of the subsidiary if I know the price paid? Well, I take the price that they paid and I divide by the stake that I acquire. It's very easy to see that that's true. Let's say you paid 1 million to acquire 50%. Well, then you would say 1 million divided by 50% should give me a value of the sub of 2 million. Now, is this true? If the value of the sub is 2 million and you paid 1 million, well, then you acquired 50% of the sub. So that formula is completely true. You take your price and you gross it up by your stake. That's the value of the sub. Then you compare the entire value of the sub to the fair value of the net assets. That is the full goodwill figure. So full goodwill means goodwill based on the entire value of the subsidiary. And let's quickly go and compare full goodwill to partial goodwill. First of all, you need to know IFRS generally is going to be using partial goodwill. So maybe 70, 80, 90% of your item sets will say, well, XYZ prepare statements out of IFRS and therefore uses partial goodwill. So that's the kind of go-to assumption. However, IFRS does allow the use of full goodwill. So if a UK company decided to use full goodwill, it's not against the rules, okay? But typically it's going to be partial goodwill. So how am I going to compute partial goodwill? Well, actually, I've got some good news here. The formula is copy and paste the formula that I gave you for the equity method. So that's a quick and dirty way to remember. Partial goodwill is nothing but goodwill under the equity method. And how did I teach you to compute it? Well, I told you take the purchase price, and now instead of subtracting the full value of the fair value of net assets, simply subtract your share of the fair value of net assets. Obviously, it goes without saying, because we are doing the acquisition method, we are going to be reporting that goodwill value as a separate line item, unlike the equity method. And also, partial goodwill here, you can see immediately mathematically, results in a lower goodwill figure compared to full goodwill. Because goodwill is an asset, that means that using the partial goodwill methodology will result in lower overall assets, all else equal. The other concept that you need to think about here is minority interest or non-controlling interest. Because that's also a plug figure, the way you calculate goodwill will affect the minority interest computation. Otherwise, your balance sheet will simply not balance. So, if you have used the full goodwill methodology, because let's say your company prepared statements under US GAAP, then you effectively have to use what I jokingly refer to as the full minority interest computation. Now, that's not a technical term. This is just my term. I call it full minority interest. That's not the term, but it helps us remember what we are doing. So why am I calling it full minority interest? Well, because full goodwill was based on the concept of the value of the sub, which was simply the price grossed up by our stake. Well, full minority interest is also, you guessed it, based on the value of the sub rather than the fair value of net assets. And because minority interest looks at the shareholding of the smaller shareholder, the minority shareholder, we simply get the stake that we do not own, right? So we own 60, somebody else owns 40, we take 40% of the value of the sub, and that's what becomes our minority interest figure, which of course is reported on the right-hand side of the balance sheet, together with equity and debt. Here I use, however, partial goodwill because I prepare statements under IFRS. Remember, goodwill here would have been lower on the left, so logically, I'd be expecting minority interest here to be lower on the right. And of course, rather than taking the percentage stake that we do not own times the value of the sub, in this case, we simply multiplied by the fair value of net assets.